I always seem to be attracted to blue-green succulents, and Echeveria elegans or Mexican Snowball is no exception. So these hens and chicks, as they're often called, will grow fairly large, so they'll get to be about 8 inches in diameter. The one you see here is about 6 inches, and this one's 3 to 4. Now, they are called hens and chicks. Also, Sempervivums are called hens and chicks. So calling the succulents by their common names or a generalized name like that can often be confusing. But if you know that they're cold hardy, then it's most likely that they're a Sempervivum. And if they are zone 9 rated or above, then they're most likely an Echeveria like this one here. So this can tolerate temperatures down to about 20 degrees Fahrenheit. It is not going to survive in a true 4-season climate. So as the temperatures get colder, and if you have more than a week or two of freezing temperatures, and even more than a couple days of temperatures below freezing, you'll want to make sure you're covering these with frost cloth or bringing them inside to prevent damage. This particular succulent loves full sun. Generally about 6 to 8 hours of bright sunlight is ideal. It's best to have them shaded in the afternoon, as they can be a little bit tender and a little more susceptible to sunburn when the temperatures get really hot and they have direct sun. You can water them more in the spring and fall, which will help them put off new offsets, but make sure that you're always using the soak and dry method. So soaking the soil completely and letting the soil dry out completely before you water again. That will prevent rot for the most part. But if you do start to notice yellowing and translucent look on the leaves, that's a sign it's getting too much water. And if it looks kind of dull and limp, that's a sign that it probably needs more water. Now, you might also notice that if they're not getting enough sunlight, these succulents will tend to flatten out. So this is really typical of Echeverias in general, but you can see here these succulents have been in the studio for about a week. They are under some very light grow lights, but they're flattening out because they want to absorb more light. Hasn't started to stretch yet, thankfully. But they can be grown indoors. This particular variety, because it's blue-green, tends to do better than something like Pearl von Nürnberg, which has more intense or unusual color. Anything that's green tends to do a little bit better indoors. But you're unlikely to see really nice compact growth with just window light. You'll generally have to supplement it with some grow lights. Now, this succulent is not generally toxic to humans or to animals, so it should be fairly safe around your family and your pets. And if you want to grow more of them, it does put off new babies on its own pretty easily, but there's 2 other ways that you can also help promote more growth. If you don't want to wait around for this to produce offsets all on its own, as this gets taller, you can actually cut off the top of the succulent. That cutting can dry out for a day or 2 and then be planted in some dry soil and watered every few days until it starts to produce roots, and then go back to your regular soak and dry method. The base of the plant, as long as you continue to water it and care for it and give it sunlight, it will actually produce new offsets once the cut has been made. That triggers it to put off new offshoots, and it grows new plants a lot more quickly. This one can also be propagated from leaves, which is super fun. If you haven't tried it before, I highly recommend it. This might be a little bit of a trickier one to grow from leaves because you have to really get a good clean break. So you'll just gently wiggle the leaf or kind of twist it off, and then set it out on some dry soil and start watering it about once a day until it grows a new baby. And soon you'll have lots of new plants. So this one does pretty well. You can propagate it fairly easily. It is such a fun one to have in your garden as long as you're not in a 4-season climate. If you are in 4 seasons, go ahead and put it outdoors for the summer, bring it in for the winter, and supplement with a grow light, and you'll have a really beautiful plant all year round. I would love to know what your experience has been with Echeveria elegans. Feel free to leave a comment below and tell me what you think of this soft hens and chicks plant. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and share it with all of your succulent loving friends, and I will see you next time.